In this session we are going to make macaroni, cheese and broccoli bake. So we are going to do an all-in-one white sauce to do this. But first what you need to do is to half fill your saucepan with water, bring it to the boil and put your macaroni into the water. Now I have used 250 grams of macaroni. Then when your macaroni is boiling, you are going to prepare your broccoli. Now I've already washed this broccoli, so we're going to cut off the florets. So I'm just going to do a few. And then we want them bite size. So cut them in half, and again, as usual, pinch in the handle, grip, point at 30-degree angle, and then cut down. Now we're going to include the stem of the floret. There's a lot of nutrition and fibre in that, and it also tastes very nice. So we're just going to cut those up, cut it into small bite-sized pieces. When you've done that, that can go in with your macaroni into your saucepan. In your saucepan, we have got 1 pint of milk. I'm using semi-skimmed milk. Then 30 grams of plain flour, 30 grams of butter or low-fat spread. And then with a whisk, you are going to gently stir your sauce. Now this is a little bit laborious. It does take a while. And what we are waiting to happen is that as the milk heats up and it gets to 60 degrees, the starch granules in the flour will begin to swell up, and then once they've swelled up, they will then burst, releasing a starchy gel, which will then thicken the sauce. You need to stir all the time because otherwise it will stick and burn. You need it on a low heat, and we want it all to combine so that we don't see the flour or the fat. If you don't stir all the time, you could get lumps, or as I said earlier, it could burn on the bottom. So you just keep stirring until it starts to thicken. As you can see here, the sauce is beginning to thicken. So that means that we have reached our 60 degrees and the starch granules are swelling up and beginning to burst. Now how we know when the sauce is ready, it will be thick and glossy. At the moment you can see the sauce is a little bit dull in colour, and it will start to go a glossy white sauce. And you can also feel as you're whisking that it is getting much thicker. You can see it bubbling around the outside. Just going to keep stirring it for another couple of seconds. Just want to get that gloss on the sauce. And what I also did was put half a teaspoonful of mustard. I put some Dijon mustard in because it enhances the flavour of the cheese. So now that sauce is thick and glossy, we can take it off the heat and add the cheese. Now I'm going to add about 2/3 of the cheese. Do not add the cheese on the heat because that will burn. And you're just going to stir that in. The heat of the pan will help the cheese to melt. There. So all the cheese is now melted. I've saved some cheese to go on the top. Now what I'm going to do here is add my macaroni. This has gone a little bit solid because it's been standing, but that doesn't matter because it will separate in the sauce. And I'm going to mix the macaroni into the sauce, so all of it goes into the sauce. When you have added all of your macaroni and broccoli, make sure it's all well mixed and the macaroni is coated with the cheese sauce. And then you can pour that into your container. Now, an oven-proof container is good because you're going to sprinkle cheese on top, and that will go into the oven. You don't have to use broccoli. You could use any vegetable, but that adds a little bit more texture to your macaroni cheese. It also adds extra vitamins and minerals. So on the top of here, I'm going to sprinkle my cheese. What you can do is also mix some breadcrumbs in with your cheese if you wanted, and sprinkle that on top, and that gives a nice crusty top to your macaroni. So there's your macaroni ready to go into the oven.